Exploring the 2023-24 Fantasy NBA schedule. Hey there, basketball enthusiasts! The NBA just unveiled its game plan for the upcoming 2023-24 season, and there's some interesting stuff to unpack. We're talking about the regular season games that teams will be playing, but this year there's a twist, a new tournament in the middle of the season. So each team has 80 games they're sure to play, and there's this special tournament that'll happen during Week 7, which is from December 4th to 10th. But here's the catch. The games in this tournament won't count towards the overall records. Only the top 8 teams from the tournament will fight it out in Las Vegas for the championship. The other teams will still play some games, though. Moving on, there's something called the All-Star Weekend in Week 17 and 18. This is a time when most fantasy leagues combine their weeks because the real NBA All-Star game is happening then. During Week 7, every team will play at least 2 games, but who they'll play against will depend on how they do in the tournament. Now let's talk about a few things that stand out. Busy teams at the end. Teams like Cleveland, Philadelphia, and Sacramento will have a lot of games toward the end of the season. That could be good news for fantasy team managers. Dallas has a slightly shorter play time. The Dallas Mavericks will play fewer games during the fantasy playoffs time. While most teams get around 10 or 11 games, Dallas gets just 9. This might not be a huge problem for star players, but it could be tricky for those who rely on specific roles. Brooklyn's extra busy week. The Brooklyn Nets have a super busy week, with 5 games in a short span. They're really going to be put to the test. Teams with fewer games in a week. Some teams, like the Nets, will only play 1 game during certain weeks. This could be a bit frustrating for fans and fantasy managers. Early bird teams. At the start of the season, 8 teams play only 5 games in the first 2 weeks, but don't worry too much. This happens early in the year. So there you have it, the lowdown on the upcoming NBA fantasy schedule. Keep these things in mind as you plan your fantasy team. Happy basketballing!